Hello, this is Dave for That's Us Gaming, and welcome to Dave's Ramblings, where I basically talk your ear off about things I find interesting. Now, today's topic was given to me by one of our Facebook fans, James, and he basically asked what we thought of Resident Evil and what we wanted to see from the series going forward. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host for today, Luke.
Hello.
Hello, and basically we thought the pair of us would get together because I'm quite different when it comes to Resident Evil. I have a very different opinion than Luke, which should be fun. So at least you've got two different opinions on this. So straight off the bat, Luke, what are your first memories of Resident Evil?
Probably like most people, the first game. I had a friend who lived around the corner from me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Brought it round. He said, "Oh, look at this game, this is great." I played it. I've got quite a tolerance for horror, so it never freaked me out, but I didn't like how difficult the game was. The whole that was for me. Yeah, having to find ink ribbons to save, item management. It wasn't my kind of game at the time. So most of the series kind of passed me by on the PlayStation 1. I did play Resident Evil 3. I think that was the first one I actually sat down and played. And I remember enjoying it. Don't think I finished it at all.
I didn't either, don't I?
Again, still not in that frame of mind at that age for item management games and survival. I bypassed everything on the PS2 almost everything, because I hadn't played the originals. So I didn't want to jump in at number 4 and not have a clue what was going on. And then, we end up here, Resident Evil 7. They say it's a reboot, back to basics. I give that a go. Absolutely love it, and now I'm trying to catch up on the rest of the series.
Oh, nice.
So that's where I am with it.
Well, to be honest with you, that's funny, because I didn't own it either. In fact, Kai had the game, and I remember pretty much Scooby-Dooing over his, and just literally any time a fucking zombie came on screen, I would just go, rope, and then just jump into his arms. I wasn't even playing, I was just watching him play it. But, eventually I managed to get a hold of a copy myself. I managed to complete it a few years ago. And I think I actually completed the DS version first. It played just like the PS1, but it was great because it had subtitles, so I knew what everyone was saying. And
Fair enough.
I could keep the volume off so that I didn't get scared when things jumped out of me, which was always good. I went through 2 and 3. I have completed 2 and 3. Recently I did complete 2 again on the Dreamcast, because I've just always been a big lover of the PS1 games. So, what's currently your favourite then? Resident Evil.
That's a very easy one. 7.
Yeah.
Currently, it is my favourite. Now, hang on. Let me just run you through the games I've actually played.
Okay.
Right. I've 7.
Yep.
I've now finished the HD remake of the first game. I have a copy of Resident Evil pre-director's cut on the PlayStation 1. I've been playing that, and I'm about halfway through.
You need director's cut because there's a cheat for infinite ink ribbons.
I don't mind the ink ribbon stuff now. I'm used to that sort of thing. I've evolved as a player. So I've played half of Resident Evil 1, the original. I finished the HD remake. I'm halfway through the Resident Evil 2 remake at the moment. I've never played the original. I've got it, but I haven't played it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've half played Resident Evil 3. I played Dead Aim on the PS2, which no one ever seems to remember when I talk to them about it. I remember distinctly being on some sort of ship. The game lasted about 5 hours. I didn't think much of it. It was definitely called Dead Aim. I've googled it. I know it's called Dead Aim. That was one I actually played and completed. I barely remember anything of it other than it was short and on a ship.
I remember Cold Fear. Cold Fear. Yeah, that was it was a game, like a Resident Evil type game that was set on the boat. I thought you were just getting the two confused.
No, it was definitely 100%, because the cover, it was just a white cover with Resident Evil, Dead Aim, and then I'm sure it was a picture of an eye in a red crosshair.
Yeah, that's what always made. I remember the cover from Blockbuster.
Yeah, definitely played that. Definitely didn't think much of it. And yeah, that actually sums up all of my experience with Resident Evil. So 7 is my favourite so far. Because of the first person view, I think, because it's more modern, because I'm quite a big fan of old style horror films from like 70s, 80s, like there's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead. You can see it all in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
All of it's there. And I think that's why I prefer this one.
Right. That's fair enough. I mean, this is why I invited you on the show, because I need somebody to be wrong. But I'd be honest with you, I don't actually know what my favourite Resi. I'd probably say 2. It's a safe choice. I love 2. I thought it was great. The fact that officially you sort of got 4 campaigns, because you had Leon A, Claire B, and then you did it the other way around where you'd have Claire A and Leon B. Essentially you had 4 different campaigns with it. Talking about the PS1 era now, I mean, again, I think we were too young at the time to sort of...
Yeah, I was still at the mercy of like my parents buying my games, so there was no way Resident Evil was making it past my mum.
No, that's it. And I mean, I was lucky because I could go across the road, or I could go to Kai's and they had Resident Evil. So, I still managed to experience it, but it was a case of they were still too hard for me when I finally got them, and it's like, yay, I get my own. But what about the PS2 ones? Did you play any of the PS2 ones?
Just that Dead Aim, and I actually also played, I think it was Outbreak File 1.
Right,
I started it. I think I rented it from Blockbuster. I don't remember thinking much of it. I remember you're in a bar. You start off, there's like 4 of you.
Got to escape from the bar.
Yeah, you've got to escape from the bar. And I remember doing that bit and then a little bit extra. I think at one point I died and the game hadn't gripped me enough for me to actually restart.
Yeah.
So I was like, alright, I rented out I think like 3 games at once, so I just went right back and go on the pile. If I get back to it, I get back to it. If not, it's going back and I probably won't rent it again.
So
it didn't inspire me at all when I played it.
I'll be honest with you, I think Outbreak would really benefit now from a HD Xbox Live release, because I mean, you think about it, it was made for online. You've got online connectivity everywhere now. Imagine just those 2 games in one package. I mean, Chris, they've brought all sorts of shit out already. I mean, it's not beneath Capcom to go, meh.
No, not at all.
Resident Evil's hot right now. Quick.
Yeah, just unload the dumpster back onto the shelves.
Because I also really like Code Veronica. I know it had a lot of shit, but Code Veronica on the Dreamcast, when you first played that game, I couldn't believe like the graphics. It was literally astounded me, because it was sort of like the same sort of zombies you saw in like Resident Evil, but just the textures and stuff. I mean, even now I still think it looks pretty good. But now for me, when it comes to the PS2, Resident Evil 4. Now, this is going to be my next point. We're going to discuss 4, 5 and 6. Now, this is unfamiliar territory for you.
Yes, extremely unfamiliar. I only know what I've been told by people I know, and none of it is really any good.
Right. So, I will attempt to give you all now a sort of rundown for 4, 5 and 6. I hated them. I absolutely hated them. Everybody classes number 4 as this great renaissance of Resident Evil and it's the best thing since sliced bread, but I couldn't stand it. It wasn't Resident Evil, it was another bloody shooting game. I own it, I've played it enough times that it doesn't grip me. I keep going back to it every now and then just to see if I can get past a little further or just start again, but I still do not like the game. I think 5 was better than 4 for me, purely because of having a laugh in co-op and just dicking around shooting chickens and stuff. Stupid stuff like that. 6, again, it just wasn't Resident Evil, it was just an action game. But let's wrap that up now, because that'll be the most unpopular opinion you'll hear here. Let's get back to 7. Now, me and you, Luke, we agree on a lot of things.
True.
But number 7, we have 2 distinctive impressions of. As you say, it's your favourite.
Yeah, I think there's an all or nothing going on here. I absolutely love this game, everything around it, and I think it is such a great game. Yet you don't. Complete opposite.
Yeah, I am the. Well, I say that I still put it above 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
Yeah, okay.
It still sits nicely in the middle.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in the main series. It's still above 4, 5, and 6. A couple of niggling things. For a start off, I don't like the fact that you don't see your character, which I would attribute that to putting you there.
It's meant to be a more immersive thing.
But my problem is, they call you Ethan all the way through. rather than if Mia would have just called you honey, if somebody else would have called you boy, I would have understood the immersion. But the fact that you've got a name, you speak, you've got your own character. Another thing, what the fuck was with that policeman? Do you know what? I haven't brought.
Yeah.
What is his problem? You are in the creepiest fucking house imaginable. You are begging for help. He's like, no, what the fuck are you on about? How do I know you're not trespassing?
Like I said, we've had several missing persons calls. And I can't rule out that an outsider like yourself may not be involved.
I think the copper definitely could have done more in terms of realism.
Yeah.
However, in terms of delivering a story and pushing a narrative, I think it was fine.
Damn it, I forgot about the narrative.
Yeah, you forgot about the narrative. Yeah, I mean, because if he did just like start tearing the windows out with their frames you can get out, that's a short game.
Alright, so another thing is also, there's a part where you get out of the house and then Zoe calls you and says, right, you got to go back and save Mia. Nah, no way. For a start off, there is no way I would go back to that house to see her. Never before has the prize been so little since Bill Murray had to live through his day 1,000,001 times just to get Andy McDowell. It is not worth it at all.
I agree in that I personally wouldn't go back. not because, I don't think Mia's much of a prize, but why on earth would you go back in to save someone who literally just sawed your hand off?
That's another thing. I am so glad you brought up the hand bit. Right?
Yes.
I will forgive the bit that they literally fucking bolted on like Frankenstein. Resident Evil 1. Let me go over. Oh, let me just click use on the herb. Flash, done. They did not show me chewing a herb, smoking a herb, doing anything. The medicine is like, I got a knife through my hand. Quick, I better chuck this stuff on, let it heal myself like holy water in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Couldn't they have just gone, even if, now get this is radical, you see the bottle and just a little thing like he's drinking it.
I think there is a bit of a problem in the way that they present this, because you only ever see it just being poured on and then nothing happens. You just heal a health stick. There is a very specific part. I've gone through this game fully once, and I have started it 3 times. And it wasn't until my 3rd time going through this that I realised that the stuff that's being poured on is literally re-knitting skin. It's not just something that's a bit of like antiseptic to stop me from getting infections or anything. If you get caught by Jack early in the game when you get out of the dining table, he takes a shovel and he lops off your foot. And then he walks away, puts a bottle on the floor and taunts you to come and get it. And then it shows you pouring this stuff over your leg against the wound, and basically it re-knits the skin together to put the foot back on. If that bit wasn't so missable, maybe it wouldn't be such a problem to see him pour this stuff over the wound, because then it makes sense.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I didn't get caught by Jack.
Exactly, neither did I the first 2 times.
Yeah, I was too busy fucking running for my life. What about the remake? Because you've played it. I've just watched walkthroughs of it.
Of 2.
Yes.
I am thoroughly enjoying the game. Graphically really impressive. If you get your brightness and contrast balances right at the beginning, because there are a lot of options to set it up.
Yeah.
If you get it right, it does really create a good atmosphere from when you're walking on a corridor using your torch and you literally can't see anything other than what's in the torch beam. And it does add to a lot of the atmosphere. I think that's what this gets quite well, is atmosphere. And that's what I've enjoyed in 7, and what I'm enjoying in this is just how much you could sort of get engrossed.
Yeah, don't be too disappointed when you go back to the PS1.
No. I won't be. I'm not expecting high things from the original.
Oh, look at all these bright lights everywhere.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to see going forward? Obviously, I think you will be of the mind that you prefer the first person.
Yeah, it's not that all of the shoulder stuff or fixed camera angles is bad. I just think in a horror setting, being able to have things right up in your face as part of the mechanic does help sometimes. Obviously not pathetic jump scares, but first person is just more immersive for me personally. I think the difference is whether or not they have a strong story to tell. If they have a really strong story where the main character needs to be somebody else other than trying to immerse you in the game, then the over-the-shoulder thing does work. More than anything, I would like to see new avenues explored. One of the things I appreciated about 7 as well was I kind of liked getting this really personal view of this one small family and the effects that what Umbrella is doing is inadvertently having on that family. It made it so much more interesting to me.
Now, we haven't even touched upon like the Operation Raccoon City, which they brought out, the light gun games, Umbrella Corps, which was their military shooter for Resident Evil.
Oh dear.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it is good that they've really sort of got a nice direction of going. I mean, I'm hoping that they will go with the over the shoulder, but then at the same time, I mean, it's hard for me because I hated 4 a lot, but I can understand that, like, with the over the shoulder, I mean, you can still, as long as the atmosphere's there and it doesn't just devolve into some bloody gun crazy, you know, action game. I mean, I did like what I saw of Resident Evil 2, the remake. I think I will stick with the old ones for now until I can afford the newer one. I like 7. You know, it's not the worst game ever, and it's just I am trying to like it. It's like one of those things where you can appreciate what it's trying to do, but it's not for me.
Fair enough. I got on with it. I thought it was a really engaging story. I thought it did tread a few horror tropes, but I think it was intending to.
Right, well, I think that's a fantastic point to leave it on. Thank you very much for agreeing to help me today. Yeah? And thank you at home if you want to like, share, subscribe. It does mean a lot to us. And thank you very much for listening. Bye.